What is up, everybody? My name is Andrew, and welcome back to Space Engineer Survival 2025. This is episode number 28, I believe. And last episode we had a bit of a shorter. Oh gosh, there's steel plates right there. Last one we had a bit of a shorter episode as I was behind on episodes. This one should be a normal length episode as we plan to try and get this entire ship built up that we were building last episode, and also finally do the welding pit down there, and maybe even build up the Falcon if we want to test out the welding pit. Off camera, I did a little bit of work on this thing, kind of just getting the second side right here done. So the first side I didn't really change much of, I don't think. Maybe I changed a couple of these angular blocks around, but the second side I moved all the blocks over to this side and made it look a little bit better. I also added a little area right here for a turret on the back, which I think is going to look pretty nice, and I added some decoys that are going to go on the side of the ship. Other than that, I don't think I did much other than like weld things up. It's still not completely welded. I put the glass in here, so we now have 2 layers of glass in the front side right there, just in case. And yeah, so we're gonna finish up this ship in this episode, and we're also going to do the welder pit. The sun's coming up, so we should have sun pretty soon. Right now it's still a little bit dark, but that's okay. We can work through the little bit of night if we want to. I did a little bit of work on the power as well in, off camera. Not too much work in that I just put up the missing little things right here. Like I built up the blocks that were missing and then put that in. And then in this one right here, I put them back in as well, just because we're running out of power and I wanted to hopefully get more power. Now that said, we are still in a big power spiral, in a big power deficit, I should say, not really a spiral. This is not Factorio. So what I want to do is let's start with power so that we can get that, working, and hopefully our base will be back in a power surplus and we won't have to worry about that later. Now it's dark, so it's gonna be a little bit weird trying to do this, but I think what I wanna do is, yeah, it's really hard to see, but I think we can move some of this power stuff. I mean, I could always go that way, or I could just go this way with it as well, and that should be fine to have some power over here. The only issue would then be that maybe it's in the way of our weapons here if they're shooting at something and we have a power thing. So maybe I do want to keep it over there, actually, just thinking about it a little bit more. Yeah. Oh, we're getting a little bit of sunlight there. Very nice. Now, a little bit of sunlight would go a long way with this, to be honest. I had told someone in the comments, someone said that we need to weld up all our blocks, and I told someone we were going to finally weld up all the blocks, and we haven't done it yet. So maybe this is also the episode for that, just running through and welding up just everything that we can find. But for that, we would of course need to go get an iron load because we're gonna run out of iron. But let's do the power first, and then we'll worry about that. So if we want to do power, how far do we have to go? We have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 blocks and then the normal block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there, and then this block right there would go down right here. And so I'm thinking one more tower would actually go pretty well. I don't know how much it would help us, but it would at least help us some. So there's 1, there's 2, out, there's 3, there's 4, we can get it, there's 4, and there is 5. So let's start with this one on the top here. Should be able to weld it up just fine. Then we'll go for this one right here, closer to the base, followed by this one. And then I'll just go ahead and right click the rest of these. This might take 2 trips, but we'll get them. I think we should be able to grab components from this thing. Yeah, perfect. So there's that one, and I know we're gonna need to grab components again for the other 2, so let's just grab everything right here. And we'll see how one more tower does for us, if it actually helps us out very much with our power problems, or if it just does like a marginal amount of stuff. Okay, so there's 1 more complete tower, and I think if I check these, so this one's actually not doing anything. Getting 0 power. I'm not sure why. This one right here should be getting the full. Let's see. 408, yeah, it's getting full. This one right here is not getting full. This one right here is getting in between full and not full, and this one should be getting full. I think I broke my little thing there, but it's fine. Yeah, he's not working at all, which is strange. I don't know what he's running up against, but let me go ahead and remove him and then put him back to see if maybe... No, okay. So he's having trouble with something. Ordinarily, I would think it's this stuff down here, but I don't know. Let's wait for the sun to come out and then we'll diagnose this stuff so that we can actually see what we're dealing with there. And I want to real quick run back over to our batteries and see if they're actually... So they're still not gaining power which is not great, but I think that's because all the batteries on the fighter ship up there are on recharge, which means, you know, it's going to take a second. I mean, over here, we do have 4 hydrogen engines. Not connected, but we could connect them, right? Okay, let's real quick turn this into a 3-way one. I want to make sure that these stay a little bit separate from, oh, actually, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. To keep them separate, I'm just gonna make, I'm gonna do like this. There we go. I'm gonna use normal pipes for this because I think that makes it look a little bit better because this is all gonna be hydrogen after all, not like materials. So let's go ahead and get all of these welded up here. 4 and 5. There we go. There's 1, 2, 3. Let's get some more components. That should be everything. 4, 5, and 6 over here. There we go. And I think what I might do as well is I might turn this. So this is a curved block. Yeah, that's a curved block. So I think I'm going to have that be a normal pipe as well. Because I think I like that a little bit better. So it doesn't look like it's actually connecting into this. So that's going to be a curved block. This right here, I believe, is a 3-way one. So no problem. I'll turn that into a 3-way one. And this is a straight one. All right, there we go. And here's the last one right there. So now we have the connection back up again, and it actually looks pretty decent. So what are you, actually, I'm curious about. You're just a light armor. Let's go ahead and remove that. And we're going to turn this into little sci-fi interior walls, I think. So let's go over here to our little sci-fi stuff. We'll get the sci-fi interior wall. Let's grab some components from here. There we go, we got a couple. And let's put those in right here. So 1 right there, and we'll throw another 2 right here. We actually have a decent floor, and very good. So now we did actually keep this a little bit spaced out just in case we wanted to turn this into a large container, which we might eventually. Right now, okay, it shouldn't have this stuff in there. Let me move this stuff over here. But right now it's a small one, which is fine. We just don't have enough ice to process it all, which is totally okay. What I think I might want to do, can I put a block here? I don't know if I need steel plates for that, but let me see about LCDs. I'm gonna grab an LCD, get a wide LCD panel here, and let me see if I can do something cool. So grab some blocks from that. Can I place it like right there? I can. So what I'm thinking is I would like to have a power readout of how much hydrogen and how much oxygen we have on the base. And I should be able to do that with just the in-game stuff here. So if I go to apps, there should be an energy and hydrogen one that I can run here. And this shows that we have 0 hydrogen on the base. Not good. That means we're gonna need to do an ice trip to grab a little bit more of that. And if we're doing an ice trip, that means we're probably gonna wanna bring along the kangaroo. Right. So how's the kangaroo doing is the question. Well, we've got the wildebeest on board, which we probably need to put back on the main base. And then we need to load up this ship. So you know what? Let's go ahead and start with this. Let's grab the wildebeest, which has hydrogen. Let's go ahead and turn on its stuff. I think this one automatically, yeah, the wildebeest should automatically yeah, okay. So when I disconnect the wildebeest automatically sets its stuff. I had forgotten which ships do that and which ships don't. So we'll go ahead and throw the wildebeest in here. I'll throw it in the most secure spot. Oops, which is gonna be right over here. I don't know where the connector is for the wildebeest. Up there, I think. There we go. So let's go ahead and connect the wildebeest there. It'll turn off, which is good. And it should be protected pretty well from any reavers or anything, unless they fire from there, but that should be fine. So now what I wanna do is I wanna load up the armadillo here. So let's go ahead and press number 6, number 7. Okay, I think we should be good. All right, let's go ahead and bring this over to the kangaroo here, and then we'll head on over to the ice. So we're grabbing ice because the entire base needs more hydrogen. And we should also grab iron, but we don't really need the kangaroo for iron, so it's probably fine. All right, there's gonna be our connection right there. So let's press number 9, press number 8 to recharge, number 6 to turn off our thrusters, and we should be good. Okay, that barely fits, wow. Okay, let's get inside the kangaroo here and start flying on over to the thing. Hopefully the kangaroo actually has power. We'll check its batteries before we take off. Otherwise, we might have to just take the armadillo alone. So batteries, let's see about these. Stored power, 1.32. Okay, that's not bad because the max stored power is 3, so they're almost at 50%. I guess we should be good. So let's go ahead and turn on our thrusters with number 6. Then let's go ahead and turn on our batteries, and then let's disconnect. And we should be good. All right, we still have 30 minutes of power. Very good. Okay, let's start heading over to, do we want to go to the ice lake? Probably not, because there's an enemy base over there. So let's just head on over to the ice that's kind of near our base, which is just kind of over here. So I think this is going to be easier ice to get to. Okay, 14 minutes of power when we're using all of our stuff. Not bad. Without there being a lot of sun, I don't really know where the ice is, but I just know it's kind of in this direction. There's snow on the ground, which is ice, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it's as pure as the ice on the ice lake, but there's only one way to find out. Okay, I really can't see anything. How far are we from our base? We're a little distance away from our base, so let's hop out real quick. Oh, actually, I can see a little bit, so I think this is ice. Let's start heading down. I want to keep our altitude thing in front of us, just so that we don't crash into the ground at a very high speed. And let's go ahead and land somewhere near this ice. And we should be able to grab this. I don't think this gives you stone. I think this gives you ice. Not 100% sure, though. Okay, I'm just going to turn the dampeners off, because I think that's I don't want to mess with the landing gear, because I think we're still missing one. Okay, so does this give you ice? That's the real question. Let's start with this. What does this give you? Yes, this does give you ice. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab some ice with the armadillo here, and we'll load this onto our base. And we want to grab a couple of inventories full of the ice. So let's go ahead and uncharge that. Let's go ahead and turn on our thrusters and unlock. All right, and let's grab some ice just right here. I think if we go too low, we're gonna start getting stone, but at least here we should get some ice. Okay, I feel like you get ice really, really slowly this way, and you get it a lot faster in an ice lake. I don't know if that's true, but we've only collected a little bit. So you know what? We're gonna go to the ice lake. I think that's gonna speed things up a little bit for us. We're finally getting some light, so that's good. Well, let's head back in here and head on over to the beautiful ice lake. It'd be nice if there was an ice lake a little bit closer to us as well. All right, off we go to the ice lake. We should have plenty of power. It should be fine. We just need to avoid that one base that shot at us the last episode. And we should be good. All right, we're flying rather low to the ground. Do we have anything to turn on our little AI stuff? I don't know. But we should be good from that base over there, as long as we stay relatively close to this side of the mountain here. Should be clear. Now that one in front of us, maybe we'll have combat with. I don't know. I don't know if we'll be close enough for it. But if we do, we should have the turrets to take it down anyway. Well, we're close enough that we can lock onto it. Let's see if we're close enough that we can actually fight it. If we do, maybe we'll just go and take it out. Let me see my turrets. I don't remember if our turrets are on. Let's turn them on. And you're on as well. Okay. So we might actually fight this thing, just because it's like on the ice lake, and it would be tough to get ice with it there. Unfortunately, as we go and fight it, we won't be able to really see anything, but that should be okay. Let's go ahead and slow down right here a little bit. And then we'll slowly make our way over to this thing. We're gonna get, ah! Okay, I did not realize we were that low. All right, let's get above the tree line here a little bit and make our way over onto this ice lake. The sun is still coming up, just very slowly. It should be here soon. But we're gonna be fighting this thing in the dark, which is fine by me. I think I'm just gonna let the weapons handle it, because they're gonna shred through it, I think. Or not. Well, we're within range. I guess I'll just right click on it. Oh, you know what? They're probably here. Let me go to this guy and say, I think I had told him not to use the automatic push pull. Yeah, that was what was that. And then turrets. Okay, he's firing. That's fine. Let me make sure all my turrets are on. They might be out of ammo. Okay, well, I'm just gonna let them handle that thing. 3 shots. I mean, the weapon should be handled at 3 shots. Well, maybe not. Okay, I guess we'll back up a little bit, because he's gonna be shooting at us. What's he aiming for anyway? All right, you, sir, I would like you to aim for weapons if possible. Okay, let's move a little bit closer, see if they're still... They are still shooting. I think our thing's out of ammo, unfortunately. All right, let's back up. That's enough of that. Their range is only 600, so if we back up to this range here, we're fine. All right, this should be good. Okay, let's go ahead and land ourselves there. Perfect. All right, did we take any damage? I don't know. I think if we did, it would be over here, because it did seem like they were kind of shooting. Yeah, they're shooting at this stuff. What are they aiming at? Oh, they're aiming for a battery. Wow, I can't believe it. And then these guys, unfortunately, I think we're just out of ammo. They weren't out of ammo, so why were they not firing? Well, you know what? They can... Why were they not firing? Let me see. If I control our front turret, can we aim at that? Yeah, we can aim at that. So I genuinely don't know why they weren't firing. That's very strange. I know there's a turret over there. Go ahead and range it a little bit. Yeah, it's down there somewhere. So let's hit that so it can't mess us up. Oh, that's another turret right up there, I think. Let's go ahead and hit that guy. There we go, he's down. And he's providing us with a nice bit of light. I don't know if that's a turret right there that I'm aiming at. I can't tell if there's any more, so you know what? Let's just, I guess let's fly toward it again. I think we may have taken it out, at least on this side. But it's hard to tell. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, let's fly toward it. There should be a soldier in there, and I don't have a weapon with me, so I might have to take it out with the actual ship weapon, which should be fine. All right, well, anyhow, here we are, and yeah, I guess, I don't know. There's that thing shooting at us. I don't know why our turrets do not want to fire back. Here, fine, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself, right? All right, let's go ahead and land this thing right here. Okay, I don't suppose we have a weapon on here, do we? It'd be nice if we did. Oh, we might actually. Yes, we do. Perfect. All right, locked and loaded, just in case there's a soldier here, which I don't know if there will be. There might be. But let's move in. Might also be a turret. Oh, yep, there's a soldier. Uh-oh, he sees me. Ah! All right, well, we're in a fight. Luckily, my gun shoots faster than his does. Okay, let's move in. Is there a turret inside? There is, indeed. Okay, is there a turret on top? Probably not. Let's move in this way.
Inventory full.
I don't care about inventory full, that's fine.
Inventory.
I guess I'll go ahead and steal this just so I can throw stuff in there. Okay, and then I'll grab that stuff, throw that in here. And then the turret itself should be on one of these blocks. Or maybe that block. Still heavy armor. Oh, this is heavy armor, very nice.
Inventory.
Ow! Oh my god, I almost got crushed by that. All right, kind of did get crushed by that. Okay, so this, then this, there we go. So he's gonna fall. Now I need to go and steal this guy. We'll go ahead and hack that, and there should be something under us as well, yeah. Yeah, hack that so I can steal its ammo. There we go, and then let's get to this guy right here. I think somewhere down here there's a remote block. Is it this? Yeah, the AI control module. So there we go. I think now we should have access to everything. Let's see if I can go into this. Yes. Now, unfortunately, I don't think these usually have stuff. It's got some components here, but that's just stuff that I put in there, so those are mine. These, yeah, they never have anything. I don't know why. But anyway, there we go. We've captured this base, which means now we're free to collect things in peace. And I might come grab this stuff after, all those components that I just threw in there. You, I guess I can grab, and then you don't have anything. All right, there we are. Another base for us to demolish at some point whenever we want to. Okay, let's start grabbing some ice from here. Hopefully it goes a little bit quicker with the ice lake than it did with the little bit of ice that we were grabbing over there. So let me go over here real quick. Let me go into our inventory, and let me go into, no, that's not what I want. I want this one to show the ship stuff, and I want this one to show like cargo. The hide empty on this one. Okay, we're good. Okay, now let's go ahead and uncharge this. Let's go ahead and turn on our thrusters, and then let's remove this from here, and let's start grabbing some ice, and hopefully again it goes a little bit faster than it did before. We'll see if it does. A little block right there. All right, let's see how this one does. I think it might go a little bit quicker. It took us probably 2 minutes to gather all the ice that we did last time, and already this is way quicker. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is we're getting a lot more ice for the amount of time that we're spending here, which I like. All right, let's continue grabbing ice. We're gonna grab a full inventory, go back to the kangaroo, maybe do that a couple more times, and then we'll be able to go back to base with a couple full inventories of ice, which will be a lot. But we need it because a lot of our ships are hydrogen, including the new ship that we just built. That thing uses a lot of hydrogen. All right, the armadillo is pretty much tapped, so let's head back to the kangaroo here and drop off some of this stuff and go for another load. We do need a quick access drop off or something like that. Make it a little bit quicker. It's not too bad, I guess. You just have to go in here and then drop it right there. Okay. Connect right there, number 9. Then let's go to our inventory. Hide empty on this ship, and then let's go to MS Cargo. And let's start dropping off some of this stuff right here. There we go. That's a full load right there, dropped off. Perfect. Now let's head on out again. And hopefully by the time we do all this, we get the sun out, and the sun is slowly coming out. It's I think it's set to 4 hours per day, so 2 hours for daytime, 2 hours per night. And so slowly we'll get the sun here, and then once it's out, we'll actually be able to see what we're doing around our base. But I can already tell you, this episode, we're probably not going to be able to do the welding everything on the base up. Maybe that's a next episode thing. I always commit to things, more things than I can do at the start of an episode, right? Like, in my mind, an episode, you know, I record for 2 hours, and I think I have a very optimistic sense of what can be accomplished in 2 hours in Space Engineers. So in my eyes, I can, you know, finish the ship, and then I can go weld the entire base, and then I can go and finish up the welding pit and do all that stuff in 2 hours, because 2 hours is 2 hours. But realistically, it's like finishing up the ship is probably going to take it an hour, and then we're doing these mining missions, so that also takes a little bit of time, and it really all adds up. And at the end of 2 hours, you're like, oh my gosh, what did I accomplish, right? So, I don't know. How much do you guys think you can accomplish in 2 hours in Space Engineers? I know some of you are veteran players playing Space Engineers, and you're like, oh, in 2 hours, I could do everything I wanted to do. I could do all this stuff. And then some of you are like, 2 hours? It takes me 2 hours to design a ship engine shroud. So I don't know. Maybe it's different for everybody. But here we go. We're almost tapped with the armadillo. So let's go ahead and, well, maybe get a little bit more. We'll go full since we have those 2 thrusters on the back doing work. And technically we could even get more, although I don't know that the ship would be able to handle it. Yeah, oh, we can barely go up. Look at this. This is max up right now. Now I could use my back thrusters to help me as well a little bit. But I think we have a little bit more space than even the red thing says, because we have the drill space, which I don't think it considers. Okay, so this is gonna be tricky, because the second I press down, yeah, see, I pressed down, I just tapped it. Yeah, we go down pretty quickly. Okay, let's back up here, get in the connection right there, and press number 9. All right, move some stuff over, and we'll get right back out there. There we go. Actually, that was very quick. Yeah, 681 ice. That's not too shabby. Now we have a wandering merchant over there, just flying around. I haven't done much with merchants in this. I've been thinking about doing another Space Engineers Economy Only series. What do you guys think about that? That's the series that we did. At this point, it's probably like 2 years ago, where it was, all we did was, I forget exactly what the rules were, but it was pretty much buying and selling stuff, and we had to use economy to get stuff. So I'm pretty sure components and stuff we couldn't manufacture. We had to actually buy them. And ships we couldn't manufacture, we had to buy them, and stuff like that. We had a big set of rules, and basically it forced us to use the economy in the game to progress. So doing another series like that would be kind of interesting. We really got into like buying and selling and figuring out what the buy prices were and the sell prices were. Although if I did another economy only, I would probably want to find some sort of mod that overhauls economy a little bit to make it a little bit more interesting, I guess. Because currently with the economy of Space Engineers, it's not super in depth. You know, there's stuff that has buy prices and sell prices, and they fluctuate every now and then. But it's not like Elite Dangerous, for instance, or other games like that, where if you were to sell a bunch of one thing to one station, the price would go down because they're no longer in need of that. And then, you know, some stations might have a much higher price because they are in need of that and stuff like that. Realistically, you know, if you could only find uranium on the moon, for instance, and you go to Mars, you'd find a bunch of trade stations that are like, hey, we'll pay top dollar for uranium because you can't find it here. It takes a long haul trip to get there. But then if you were on the moon, trade stations would be like, nah, we don't care about uranium. We don't need that stuff. You can just go mine it at your local corner store. So yeah, some more in-depth trade mechanics would be interesting. And in a way, I would hope they would do something like that for Space Engineers too, if they were thinking of ways to to improve stuff. I don't know, but having some sort of like thing like that, like an overhaul mod would be really cool, in my opinion. Even something. Oh, did we kill one of our cargo containers? I think we might have. Okay, we're gonna have to fix that. Even something as simple as making it so that some stations have like rarer stuff. Like maybe steel plates are common in a lot of stations, but you only find like radio components in like a select few stations or something like that. I don't know. We can only get our access panel here. Every now and then we find the, yeah, there we go. I don't know that we have the stuff for this, but it's possible that we'll find it over here because we have this. Can I withdraw one motor? Oh no, okay, we were able to withdraw a motor. Perfect. All right, just like that, we're ready to go again, and everything is fixed. So let's go for a little bit more ice. We're just gonna keep getting ice. I like getting ice. But anyway, yeah, the mini series, that one is one of the ones that I think would be interesting to get back into, if it's, you know, done in a way that makes it a little more interesting. Because last time I believe what we were allowed to mine materials and process them. So we were allowed to mine ores and then like refine them into the ingots and then sell the ingots if we wanted to. What we weren't allowed to do was use an assembler. So something like that would be interesting. But I think another one of the problems was that finding trade stations was a big issue. By the end of the first episode or in the second episode, I'm not sure, we actually flew from the Earth to the moon using a jetpack because we needed to find a specific type of trade station. So having a mod that would allow you to have trade hubs or something like that, that have all of the trade kinds, or I don't know, something like that would be cool. Or maybe we just start out with a ship that allows us to fly around. Like not a big cargo ship, but something like that. And then if we want a cargo ship, we'd have to actually buy it from a ship station. But I would definitely need to make sure that every planet has those kinds of things, because I don't want to have to fly to Mars, for instance, to find a station that sells ships. That would be a little insane. Okay, we're almost full on this thing, so let's go ahead and drop this off. One other mini-series idea that I thought of that would be interesting would be having stations like that where you can buy ships and stuff, but they're your ships, like you guys' ships. So I know a lot of you guys have like fleets of ships that you make and stuff like that that are really cool. It'd be cool if you were able to design your own like dealership. And then whenever I wanted a ship, I could go shop around at the dealerships. You know, you might have like a super expensive ship that's got all these features. Someone else might have like a cheaper ship that's got fewer features, and maybe it's less well built or something like that. I don't know, but I think that'd be pretty neat to have like dealerships of you guys around the area. Okay, MS Cargo. All right, let's do one more trip and then let's call it done, because we're at this point we're pretty much to the point where we're good on ice. And I'm gonna need to figure out some solutions so that I don't destroy my corridors like that again. So yeah, anyways, you guys might see an economy only series coming soon. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. I might also do some more games. There's some games that I've wanted to play as well that are not Space Engineers, so maybe I'll try those on the channel. One that I've really been wanting to do is MMORPG Tycoon 2. I did a Let's Try on it a while ago and thought about continuing it from there, but I think I would start new if I did it because I really enjoy that game. But they've added a lot of new stuff since I did the Let's Try, and it'd be really cool to do that. Like they added dungeons and I don't know, stuff like that. Now that sort of game is very, very different from Space Engineers, so it'd be an interesting one to put on the channel. I don't know how much of an audience that would get, but at least it'd be fun for me. Games that I enjoy would be cool to put on the channel, I think. But anyway, let's start flying up here. But anyway, 1,600 ice. Hey, that's not too shabby if I say so myself. All right, let's get in the cockpit of this Kangaroo and let's fly out of here. Okay, well the Kangaroo has a little bit of trouble taking off with this level of oomph to it. Yeah, wow. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna have a little bit of trouble getting back, but it's fine. We'll get there. None of our giant thrusters are destroyed, so they're still doing their work. The only thing is we only have 10 minutes of flight to get back to our main base, and we're going very slowly. So I think we should be able to get there. Shouldn't be a problem. But if we get down to probably less than 3 minutes, we're gonna have to land and reevaluate because we really don't have a lot of power here. And it's good to know that this thing probably needs a little bit more thrust if we want to actually have it be a giant cargo ship. Oh, shoot. Okay, I didn't realize that. I got too close to that. I flew too close to the sun. Call me Icarus. Call me Icarus, because I'd be flying too close to the sun here. Whoops. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. I wasn't thinking about that one. Okay, so we probably took a little bit of damage to our side. If they had damaged one of our thrusters, that would have been crazy. We would have just like fallen out of the sky if that were to happen. Luckily, that didn't. I don't think our hydrogen thrusters are doing anything, by the way. I don't know why they're not doing anything, but like I'm pressing forward and they're not doing the forward thing. Well, the base is looking nice, I've got to say. I think the base, every episode we do, the base looks a little bit cooler, and it does look pretty cool in my opinion. Let's go ahead and land this thing on the on our little landing pad, which is one of the things that I would love to actually weld up at some point and maybe make it look a little bit nicer with some lights and stuff like that. But it's fine. That ship on top is looking cool. That's a big ship. It's huge. Okay, let's land this thing here. We're gonna get it hovering right over where we want to land it first. There we go. There's the connection. So let's press number 9. Let's turn on our battery recharge. Let's turn on our hydrogen. Oh, our hydrogen tanks were on recharge. That's why. And let's turn off our thruster. And let's turn off that thruster as well. Okay, perfect. All right, we're back. This thing got a little bit damaged. That's okay. It happens to the best of us. And let's head on back out of here. So our stuff, these things should automatically pull what they need to pull. And then these are gonna start working, which is good. Let me make sure you guys are full. Yeah, you are. Perfect. So now what we can do is, I'm gonna not use the elevator here. What was I going to check for? I was literally coming down here for a reason. Oh, I wanted to check that you guys are now, nope, you guys are still not, okay, that's fine. Whatever, it's okay. We're just gonna, we did our best on the power. I think we just need to wait until the ships get recharged and then it'll start recharging the base. Because this right here is recharging its batteries right now, which is going to take a hot minute. See, these batteries right here, they have stored power 1.1, so they're getting there slowly. Okay, let's switch out our tanks here for a second. And then what I think we're gonna do is we're finally gonna do the welding pit, because that's one thing that we've been putting off for far too long. I'm gonna go down here to this one to do the tanks because it's a little bit easier with having all these tanks right here. Okay, what I wanna do here, I think I'm gonna go grab more iron real quick. We're gonna grab a full load of iron before we do anything else. Let me just make sure you guys are still good. Looks like you are, perfect. Okay, so let's hop in here. Let's go ahead and press this. And then let's go and grab a full load. Now we only have 34% power, but it should be okay. So we're gonna grab a whole load of iron because we're a little bit low on the base. We're not super low, but I would like to have more, as always. Having more iron is always a good thing. Ow. All right, here's our iron. There's a little bit of nickel in there too, which I'm gonna try my best not to get. But let's get as much iron as we can. And we'll be able to go back and start working on our welding pit. Man, I had intended this to be a building episode, but here we are, welding. It's just a giant welding episode. That's all we're doing, apparently. Well, no, we're gonna get some building done. I would like to get that welding pit looking nice, and maybe that'll involve welding up some of the blocks above it. I think part of building the welding pit is going to be putting blocks above it so that it can't be destroyed very easily. Because one annoying thing about the welding pit is if it gets destroyed, you have to go and reconfigure a bunch of sensors, which is just a pain. Someone had mentioned a different kind of welding pit as well, which is just a welding wall. And in that instance, what you would do is have a static welding wall, but then you have a moving projector that basically moves the ship that's being welded out of the wall. Now that's another good way to do it. Honestly, that's probably a quicker way to do it than having a welding pit with a bunch of censored piston things, but whatever. The way we're doing it should work fine. And I do like the welding pit option because that means I can move a ship in there and it'll weld it up. All right, that's about as much as I'd like to collect, I think. So let's start trying to head out of here. I might have to right click some of this ceiling because it's a little bit low for my tastes. So let's just try and get out of here. Actually, you know what? It wouldn't be a bad idea. Well, actually, no, we don't have any of the connections set up, but since we have our grid all the way out here, you know, setting up some sort of way to connect to that would be a good idea. Okay, we're gonna go and connect this thing to the main base instead of connecting it to the Kangaroo again, just because it's a little bit closer, and we don't know if the next time we're gonna use it's gonna be on the Kangaroo. Hey, there's a buzz flying around. Oh, there's actually one thing I wanted to do in this episode. Okay, before we do anything else, let's land this, and then before we do anything else, we're gonna do this one thing. Speaking of Buzz, which is just flying around right there. Is it broken? Did I break it? No, I didn't. Okay, it just was being a little bit finicky. All right, you recharge and you turn off. Perfect. Okay, now let's go into here real quick and make sure that our refineries are set up properly. So refinery, I would like iron to be the priority because we're running out of it. I want to search my ingots real quick. Ingots. So I'm thinking we probably have a lot of cobalt at this point. Yeah, we do. That's an incredibly large amount of cobalt. We have a lot of silicon, nickel. We have a lot of nickel. We have a little bit of magnesium. We do actually still have a lot of iron. But pretty much what I want to do is I want to make sure that we're working on our iron as our main thing. Why does refinery 2 not... Oh, because that's the refinery that's on board the ship. Okay, that's fine. Actually, you know what? For now, I want that refinery to be turned off. So refinery 2, I'm going to have you turned off because you don't have any connectors or anything like that. Okay, now what I wanted to do is gonna have to do with being over here. So unfortunately, last episode, this is where Zub died to a Reaver. So the Reaver that attacked over here was a small Reaver, but it did shoot this area, and Zub was unfortunately in this area, and unfortunately passed away in that battle. But what we can do is make a little memorial for poor Zub. So what I'm gonna do here, let's remove... No, actually, I'm going to keep this. And we're going to get ourselves an LCD for Zub here. We'll throw it right there. And on this, we're going to say, rest in peace. Was it Zub like... I think it was Zub like that. Rest in peace, Zub. There we go. Rest in peace, Zub. Was a leader among Buzzkind and will be missed. Zub really was an honorary Buzz. He was unlike the others in that he was a Zub. He was a good Zub. And he Zubbed many blocks. In fact, this block, I believe he was in the process of Zubbing when he was unfortunately shot down by a Reaver. But that doesn't mean that all is bad, because I'd like to believe that Zub is in a better place now. Frolicking and flying among different Zubs. He really was the only Zub in our base, but where he is now, I hope that he's with many other Zubs. Zub, you will be missed. You were a good part of this team, and I hope to see you again one day. There we go. There's the little Zub memorial, and I think it's a good one. All right, rest in peace, Zub. You will be missed. Okay, let's move on to what we're gonna do now, which is going to be working on the welding pit downstairs. Although actually, while we're here, real quick, I wanna fix up this little area. After it got shot by the Reavers, I don't know. Are we out of steel plates? I think we might be out of steel plates. Oh my gosh. Well, in that case, we're gonna go into production and say, build me 12,000 steel plates, basically. Because I would like more. This Buzz might be trapped, or he might be visiting the Zub Memorial. But anyway, there we go. We now have those blocks built up again, so we can now walk up here very nicely. Oh, hey, what's up, Buzz? Anyway, let's move on to yeah, let's start working on what's down here, which is the welding pit. I'd like to get this thing built up and ready for ships to go into it. So let's start with the wall right there, getting that built up kind of like this one is. So it's going to have, what do we need? T-junction, E-junction. Okay, we need a bunch of T-junctions basically. So we're gonna have T-junctions going up and then a T-junction going out right here. All right, so it's gonna be something like that right there. I think that accounts for all the ones that we have here. 3 layers of those, yeah. Okay, and then, so if that's the case, let's get these welded up first. And then I know we had another, like one of these down here. All right, let's start building these things up by hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna put away everything that I have in my inventory, including the paint gun and the paint and the gun and that stuff. And let's start building all these up. So the buzzes as well are gonna be hard at work trying to help us out here with this. All right, just a couple more right here, and there we go. So those are all, that's the entire wall welded up. I don't wanna get too close to those because those are still on, but let's get our pistons now attached here. So make sure we get a bunch of steel plates on us. We should have a bunch, yeah, we're starting to get a bunch of steel plates on the base here. I wanna make sure that the connection is gonna be right there. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we're gonna have 14 pistons here. Each is going to have a sensor attached to the bottom and a welder as well. So the welders, let's get those. I feel like this is way overkill for a welding room, by the way, but we're committed now, right? So yeah, that's gonna be a lot of pistons and stuff. I'm gonna have to rename them and everything. But anyway, yeah, okay. So we're gonna have to bring this out as well because I'd like this to go all the way. Alrighty, there we go. So we have a lot to weld up, and I think let's do it. So how do we name these, by the way? Printer L1 welder. So left. Okay, that makes sense. And then you must be L1 piston, and you must be L1 sensor. Okay. Well, I guess let's start. So we're gonna go ahead and right-click these three, build these up. Didn't take too long, hopefully. So that's gonna be printer R1 welder, and this is going to be printer R1 piston. And let's just make sure that we have those facing the same way. Okay, we've got one of them named. So let's go ahead and do all the other ones. There's the sensor. Right-click these guys as well. All right, guys, I think this is gonna take a while, so you know what? Let me just cut away and I'll come back once all these are built up. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build up one, name it, or no, maybe I should just build them all up and then name them all in one fell swoop. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Either way, you know what? We're gonna do some movie magic, so 3, 2, 1, kazam. Well, that half worked. Kazam? Oh, come on. I swear this usually works. Okay, kazam. Okay, there we go, finally. All right, so they're all done right here. We have them all set up. They're not named yet. We still need to name them. Then we need to get the sensors all set up. We have sensor hell, by the way, if we run around here, and they're all going beep, 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 beep. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna turn those off. We're gonna get the sensors set up, and we're going to get them named and get them set up as well. Then, after that, we'll come back and we'll have, what I want to do is get some sort of button as well that will get them to turn off and turn on and stuff like that, so they're not always trying to like sense and stuff. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. All right, I'm gonna go to each of these ones and name them appropriately. So printer R1 welder, this will be printer R2 welder, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, you guys get the gist. They'll correspond to these ones over here. All right, so give me a second and we'll come back and have those all named. It's gonna take you 1 second, it's gonna take me 10 minutes. So here we go, let's do this. All right, at this point, everything is named. So if I go to a random one of these, you'll see that we have R12 welder, this would be R12 sensor, and we have R12 piston over here as well. So everything is successfully named. Now what we need to do is actually set up the threshold for the sensor, and we're gonna copy it over to all of these, because you'll notice that one thing I did when I placed these is made sure that they're all positioned the same way, so that we can use build vision to go ahead and copy a setting from one and put it on all of the sensors as well. So that's pretty much what we did for this one. In fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this one and I'm gonna copy this threshold. So open the copy settings, we'll copy all but name. I'm gonna place it on this one, and then we're probably gonna have to reverse some of the settings. Let me see, copy settings, paste. Let's go in here, let's show on HUD, yeah, let's show on HUD on, and let's go into info and let's show sensor field range. So we should now see, oh no, okay, so this one automatically has, yeah, perfect. So this one is showing the correct threshold. Yeah, so all we need to do is paste the same thing over to all of these. And then what we're gonna have to do is run through and set the pistons to retract and extend and whatever in that instance. So let's go ahead and copy, paste, run through all these and do the same thing. Copy settings, paste. Build vision, very important mod, by the way. So if you guys aren't using build vision, then I highly suggest it, because you can do things like this. You can do it with lights as well, which is very helpful. Copy settings, paste, for copying light settings over. You are somehow, as you're sensing, oh, I see the problem. So what we're gonna do instead then is let's go ahead and grab that and let's change the right extent so that it's a little bit smaller, and left extent as well, so it's a little bit smaller, because we don't want it to be sensing other blocks, basically. So I think we're gonna do it like that. So let's run through and copy this one, copy all but name, and then we're gonna paste it on all these. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back once all these are set. It should be pretty easy. Another 10 minutes maybe. But hey, some things in space engineers require a little bit of elbow grease, and this is one of them. In order to get this set up, it's just gonna require me to put my head down and get all these things copied and set up with their appropriate piston. Alrighty, okay, so now comes the hard part. I put like a little button right here to turn off our welders so that we can control them from there. But the hard part is going to be assigning each one of these sensors to their appropriate piston. And it's only hard because it's a pain in the butt. I've got to go through each of them and say, hey, this one right here, retract when you sense, extend when you don't sense. It's just tedious. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll come back once that's done. I'm just gonna real quick grab a bottle so that you guys don't have to watch me do that for the next 30 minutes of time. But once it's done, we'll come back and then we'll work on making that room look a little bit nicer so that it actually, you know, is a little bit defended and looks pretty nice for welding stuff. Okay, I'll be back. Time starts now. All right, with that one, I think I have everything finally set up. How would I test it? Okay, so what I'm gonna do in order to turn this on, I need to set up a timer, because what I essentially want to do is when I turn this on, I would like it to first start by extending all of these, and then I would like it to, like 2 seconds later, turn on the sensors. So extend sensors. So the idea is that hopefully everything will be started out by extending, and then the sensors will trigger and it'll make sure that it stays away from whatever's on there. The reason I don't want to extend and trigger the sensor at the same time is because sometimes I've had that happen where it triggers the sensor, then sets it to extend or something like that. It can be a little weird. But also with the timer, I can set up some sort of light feature that would turn on or something like that. And then when you turn it off, I would like it to turn off the sensor, then retract. So we're going to do that with a couple timer blocks. So timer. Let's go ahead and run these right here, because why not? I think this is a perfect place. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll get one right there, and one right here for the off. So these are on, and those are gonna be off. Now let's go ahead and set these up. It's gonna be very simple. I'll add in lights later, but for now, all it's gonna do is the timer 1 is going to turn on the printer. It's gonna extend the printer pistons, and then call the start for this one. And then the timer 2 is gonna turn on it'll wait 1 second maybe. And then it's gonna turn on the sensors, very simple. So boom, boom, and then the opposite with this one right here. So we'll turn off the sensors and then trigger this one. We'll wait 1 second, I guess, again. All right, very simple. So it should work now that the timer 1 and the timer 2 work appropriately. So, when it's on, actually, yeah, I'd like to turn on the welders as well. How could I forget such a thing? And then when it's off, I'd like to turn off the welders. All right, so let's go back here and let's make sure we go to our printer timer right there. So this will be on and this will be off. Oops, I want to do trigger now. All right, so if I go ahead and turn all my printers off, you should notice in 1 second, these will start retracting. Very nice. Okay, and then if I go ahead and set all let's wait for this to fully retract. Just give it a second so that we can see them all kind of start to do their own thing at once. So all the welders are off as well. It's a very good sign. We want them to be off so they're not messing things up. And then let's go ahead and let's fly a ship in the middle of this just to make sure our sensors work. So let's get like, I don't know, do we have a ship near us? Let's go ahead and get the Wildebeest over here. Why not? So we're gonna fly the Wildebeest down here. The Wildebeest might have some blocks on it that are damaged, I'm not sure. But we're just gonna fly it right in the middle of this and let it hover here for a second. So like right there should be good. Okay, so let's maybe go down just a tad bit so we get the bottom ones also. There we go. Okay, so we have a ship there, and let's go ahead and turn this on to see if it kind of molds around this or if it kind of crashes into it. So there's on. Everything's extending. The sensor should now be on as well. So let's see how this works. Hopefully it doesn't mess everything up. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I think that's working. And hopefully these guys don't mess with each other too much. Okay, well, whatever. It did mold around the ship, which is very good. Unfortunately, there's nothing to actually to weld on it right now. Even though there are some blocks missing, I don't have a projector on it. So, but yeah, now once the ship is done being welded, we can actually just turn this thing off right here. And it should just come back. So what I think I'm gonna do here real quick is I think I am gonna throw a projector on this guy because there are some blocks that are missing. And I think we can weld those up. So there we go, there's our projector. Let's go inside this. And we are still on Mark 1 of the Wildebeest, so I don't know exactly what what the projector is going to have, but let's run in here, grab our weld a beast. Did we never blueprint the weld a beast? I think we never blueprinted the weld a beast. Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, wait, really? Yeah, we never blueprinted the weld a beast. That's crazy. Okay, well, we're gonna have to let's repair the weld a beast then real quick, and we'll blueprint it right here. So these guys, let's go ahead and get these in. All right, I think at this stage we can now blueprint this finally. We didn't apparently blueprint it before, but it's okay. So let's go ahead and call this, make sure it's called the Weld a Beast Mark 1. Info, Weld a Beast Mark 1. Yep, perfect. Okay, and let's go ahead and Control B on that, blueprint that. So now we now have the Weld a Beast Mark 1, which means in here we can put the Weld a Beast Mark 1. Make sure that we say keep projection, and then we just need to move it into position. So is it facing the wrong way? No, it's just a little bit off center. Okay, that's fine. All right, there we go. It's in position, and now we can turn this off, and we can turn it back on whenever we need it to work. Okay, perfect. All right, Weld a Beast, thank you for being our guinea pig. Let's go ahead and put you back in your little parking spot. Okay, there we go. Weld a Beast is back where it needs to be. All right, so we now have this entire area down here done, although I'd like to remove those sensors from my HUD because they're going to be a little bit annoying. So let's go to Control Panel, Printer, Sensor. Grab all those and say show on HUD off. I also want to go into info and make sure that we're off right there. And then let's also go to printer sensors and make sure that audible proximity alert is off. Project players is off. And then everything else is good, I think. Okay, perfect. So we now have this area looking good. Now I would like to weld up some of these steel plates that are around here, because the big thing that I want not to happen is that I don't want this thing to get destroyed, because it's kind of a pain to set up, and I don't want to have to set it up again. So that end, let's go ahead and maybe weld a couple of these up. Now I think the buzzes are going to help me, but they're going to help very slowly as they do, so I can't really rely on them too much. But should I do this by hand or should I use the Weld a Beast? I wonder. I definitely want to make sure that this is defended like that, basically. So I want to go out one extra block right there and then go up from there, so that if this gets shot, it doesn't immediately go through and shoot that stuff. Okay, there we go. So something like this will be good, and I'll probably go and grab the Weld a Beast to actually weld this stuff up, because it'll be a little quicker than welding by hand. So there we go. Put that there. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So out two and then up. And from here, we're just going to go up like this so that we can form a little area, because no ship is going to be flying in this area anyway, because those are static. The only area they can fly would be into here. So I'm fine kind of blocking that off so that nothing can shoot this stuff too easily, at least. We want to give the Reavers a challenge. And then the same thing is going to be over here. So I'd like to go out here. There we go. That should be pretty good. And how many blocks from here do we have? We have 2 blocks up top. I think I'm going to block off that right there, because I'm most likely going to add one more layer of blocks on the bottom of this, so that first of all, a ship up there doesn't crash through the ground, but second of all, so it doesn't is there a second of all? I don't know that there's a second of all. I think I just said second of all expecting there to be one, but no, just first of all. I don't want ship to crash to the ground. All right, I think we have plenty to weld here now. So all this stuff right here, we're gonna go ahead and weld up. And I'd like to actually, before I do anything else, let me get some lights set up. And actually, before I do that, let me get a nice crossbar up here set up as well. I think I can weld up that one. Actually, I'd like to weld up these before I weld up, or before I put those blocks down, because otherwise I won't be able to get to them. All right, there's some lights in there, which is good, because that's going to help us see as we're printing this stuff, or as we're welding. So let's hop inside the Weld a Beast, grab a bunch of steel plates, and get to welding this thing. So let's go to Weld Cargo, and let's go ahead and get some steel plates. So base storage components. We're going to grab all the steel plates, because why not? Actually, maybe we'll keep 1,000 on the base. And actually in production, while we're at it, let's go ahead and throw a bunch more of those in production, because we are going to want them. And let's also real quick check our refineries to make sure that they're printing stuff. So let's go to ingots. So we do have a lot of iron on here, but let's go to ores. And let's make sure some of our iron is going to be processed here. Dang, there might be yet another iron trip in our future. Can't believe it. We've gone through that so quickly. All right, let's press number 7 and get to welding this stuff. All right, it really is looking like a bit of a box over here, but that's okay. So let's start welding. Number 1, there we go. We have lots of welders. We should be able to do a row of 5 if we really wanted to. All the way down to here. Yeah, perfect. Tell you what, this definitely makes life easier. All right, let's go up. Get 5 at a time. Oh man, yeah, this definitely makes life a whole lot easier. Being able to get all these at once. I wonder how long this steel plates will last though. Probably not terribly long. Okay, we have a couple that we need to get here. So let's just run these down. Then we have a couple on the other side too. Okay, so we started with like 7,500 steel plates. Let's see how many we use by the end of this first facade. There we go. So let's check here. So let's hide empty. Yeah, so we used about half of them. So we might be able to get the back of this over here, but we probably won't be able to get the other side or the floor in there, which is unfortunate, but you know, you do what you can. We should be able to get all 5 of these at once. Okay, if I angle myself like this, I am actually able to get like this backbone in there and the blocks that are like actually inside these blocks, which is pretty good because I always like to get those blocks that are a little bit harder to reach. Get these while I'm at it. Okay, we're probably close to running out of steel plates here. I could check. Let's hide empty. 700. Yeah, so we'll probably only get these bits. All right, that's not bad. I'm not going to weld up those ones right there because we're probably pretty much out of steel plates here. But we got quite a few right there. That's pretty good. I think yeah, that's looking good. Let's get another load of steel plates. See if we can get some of that floor. We should have a couple more steel plates waiting for us now that we told it to make like 20,000. Yeah, okay, we have another 6,000 steel plates, so let's go ahead and fly with those as well. So number 7. And let's get over there. I want to try and go inside and get some of the floor done. That's the important bit, I think. I think this is going to look pretty good with an actual floor. All right, just a couple more blocks to get to. And maybe we do the ceiling as well if we have more steel plates when we finish this up. We should. I think the walls were more than the floor was. Let's do a quick check to see how many steel plates we have. 1,000? Okay, so we should be able to do some of the ceiling as well then. It's a little hard to get to some of it, but if we angle ourselves like this, we can maybe get to a little bit of it at least. Ow. Okay. I flew too hard into that thing. Well, luckily we are where we are, so I can just go ahead and turn on the projector, and I should be able to just weld that up again. So projector's back right there. Let's hop over here and turn this thing on. And we'll let it just sort of handle that. I'm gonna grab these as well while I'm at it. Oh, Buzz was trying to help there as well. But yeah, these guys should build that up if we have the components. We might be missing something for the thruster. Let's go check. We're missing metal grid. Okay, so let's go in here then and build some metal grid while we're at it. It's very slowly adding those metal grids, but there we go. Okay, perfect. So now I think we should be good to let it retract. All right, let's go back in here and turn these guys off. All right, I'm pretty happy with what we have here. We have a full welding system now. We have a couple more blocks that we need to build up, but for the most part, it's looking pretty good. And just put these blocks in here real quick. But I think now is probably a good time to end the episode. We didn't actually end up working on the ship itself that we were working on last episode, but next episode we'll do a lot of ship work so that we can get that thing built up. I'm pretty proud of what we did here with the welding room. It could use a couple more blocks and a little more detailing, which I'll do probably next episode at the start, but we're in a good spot, I think. I really like this. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this episode, please go ahead and hit the like button, put your comments and your suggestions down below in the comments section for things you'd like to see in future episodes. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button so you can get notifications for when videos go live and stuff like that. And if you'd like to become a YouTube member or a patron, there are links in the description for that. You can get your name in the end credits, you can get early access to videos on some occasions, and you can get a shout out at the end of the video for some of the tiers. So for the people we're gonna shout out at the end of this video, it's going to be Queen Danny, Iron Helix, and Heretical John. Thank you very much for your support, and thank you everyone for your support who's watching these videos. I really hope you enjoy them, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Space Engineers Survival.